Great. Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, January 7th, 2026, and I now call this regular meeting of the Wetaskiwin Regional School Board to order. We're going to begin with the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory, a traditional meeting ground, gathering place, and traveling route to the Cree, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Métis, Dene, Nakota Sioux, and Anishinaabe. We acknowledge all the many Indigenous nations, Métis and Inuit, whose footsteps have marked these lands for time immemorial. We respect the treaties that were made on these territories. We acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to move forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Next item on the agenda is consideration of the agenda. Are there any changes or additions? Seeing none, may I have a motion that the agenda for the January 7th, 2026 regular board meeting be approved as presented? Thank you, Trustee Heikert. A seconder, Trustee Johnson. Thank you. All in favor? Motion is carried. And I think we have Trustee Potts online joining us today. So how we're going to handle voting for Trustee Potts is if she doesn't say anything, that will be a vote in the affirmative. And if she opposes any motion, she can raise her hand and I'll call on her and we'll sort it out. Next item is approval of the minutes from the December 17th, 2025 regular board meeting. Are there any errors, omissions, or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, may I have a motion that the minutes of the December 17th, 2025 regular board meeting be approved as presented? Thank you, Trustee Johnson. Seconder. Thank you, Trustee Lethbridge. All in favor? Okay, motion is carried. Committee reports, standing committee reports. I will now call on Trustee Johnson to present the Governance Committee report from December 17th.
Okay, everybody received a copy of our minutes. We reviewed the Administrative Procedure 164 on the smudging and pipe ceremonies, and we were given a draft of the new AP, and we made a resolution that this be referred to the Governance Committee. We reviewed the existing form and discussed the use of the opt-in across the division. Members agreed that the use of opt-in for smudging aligns with other practices within the division and provides transparency for parents and guardians. The draft Administrative Procedure 164 smudging will be updated and posted on the division website. A further discussion was held for the need of a way of life policy. The Governance Committee directed senior administration to develop a draft way of life policy to be presented for consideration at the next governance meeting. School Council, draft policy number 3. The topic of School Council attendees will be referred to the Governance Committee for further discussion. We had a discussion on the ministerial order from the library the ministerial order be referred to the Governance Committee, and we discussed that new ministerial order. Policy 4, Trustee Code of Conduct, Board Operations, was referred to the Governance Committee, and we reviewed the new draft Policy 4, Trustee Code of Conduct, and the recommendation is that Policy 4, Code of Conduct, be approved as presented. So we reviewed and made some changes to that role, and the committee is pleased to provide the board with the opportunity now to discuss the board operations policy as amended.
All right, so, excuse me. Now, there are a few recommended motions coming forward through the governance committee.
Yep.
Is someone prepared to make the following motion that policy 4, trustee code of conduct, be approved as presented?
I believe I just did make that motion.
Well, my understanding was you summarized it as you went because you read through all the motions.
But I made the motion, which now can be discussed.
Okay,
I need a
anybody to
second.
second? Sure. All right, thank you. The motion on the floor is that policy 4, trustee code of conduct, be approved as presented. Is there any discussion? All right.
So we did, we changed a couple of things. In number 16, the trustees shall attend and fully participate in board's governance practices and routines. If a trustee is absent without being authorized by a resolution of the board to do so for 3 consecutive regular meetings, unless the absence is supported by a medical certificate, the trustee shall be subject to sanction. So that was changed, and what was the other thing? I guess that was
probably it, yeah.
probably it.
Does anyone want to comment on the change specific subject to sanction versus what it used to be disqualified from being a trustee of the board and the reason behind it, or with the government legislation, the bill?
Oh, okay,
You want me to?
Sure, yeah.
That's how I read it was when I read through the changes from provincial government is now the rule.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
cannot
You can't
remove a voted in member, but we can take away their privileges.
That's right, yes, exactly. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none. The motion on the floor, policy 4, trustee code of conduct, be approved as presented. All in favor? All right, motion is carried. Also coming out of the governance committee is a second motion.
Yep. I would make the motion that policy 7, board operations, be approved as presented.
Okay, thank you, trustee Johnson. Do I have a seconder? Trustee Martin, thank you.
So what was changed in this one is that in the opening lines, the board believes that effective governance of all meetings shall be held in person, or any exception to this belief shall be approved by the board chair. So if someone is going to miss a meeting or is planning to attend virtually, like if we have a road closure or whatever, the board chair must approve it's not an absence if they attend virtually. So because at one point we did get into electronic meetings, where everybody was virtually in the meeting room, and it was very, very difficult for the chair to control the conversations. And so we added that and took out the point 7 in the policy that participation by electronic means, trustees participating in a board meeting electronically shall be deemed to be present. So if you need to attend virtually, you must inform the chair prior to your absence at the table, because we do believe that we make decisions as a board, and being in the room to discuss any of those decisions needs to be held in person.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I appreciate the change because it's, I find it's much harder to have a conversation or sometimes a serious debate with somebody when they're virtual. They maybe are only getting a portion of the feeling of the room, and we as well aren't getting necessarily to see their take on it, both physically and like an immediate response to something. So I appreciate having everybody present in one room for discussions, especially if they're of a major sort of minimal things that's maybe not such an issue, but when it comes to important things and important things to our families and our schools, I think everybody should make their best effort to be present when possible.
Thank you. All right, did you have a comment?
I couldn't have said it better than that.
Okay. All right, excellent. So the motion on the floor is that policy 7, board operations, be approved as presented. All in favor? Motion is carried.
Okay, the next motion is a brand new policy because we have a new build in our community. The recommended motion is that policy 25, naming of schools and schools property, be approved as presented.
Thank you, Trustee Johnson. Do I have a seconder? Trustee Ware, thank you. Is there any discussion?
Well, as I said before, this is really the first time we've ever put this in writing because we have a new school. If we choose to name it something other than Norwood, that we have to open that up to community and for discussion. And so this becomes a brand new policy, the first in many, many years. And I appreciate our administration taking the time to bring this to fruition.
Any other comments? Trustee Ware?
Sure, yeah, just in the past, we've run into trouble with especially naming school property after people. Just because we couldn't possibly represent all the good people that have contributed to our division. And by picking one or a few here and there, it seems a little bit exclusive, but also because they age out and eventually people don't remember who they were, and which is bad, but we decided, that we would remember them other ways, benches, trees, etc. Portions of buildings, libraries, yeah. So, yeah, I think it's more fair.
Thank you. Any other comments? Trustee Anker?
I find the policy really broad, so hopefully that is going to work positively. And we won't know until we get down to it, I guess. I hope that if the name is changing for our new school build, that a heavy weight is put on the current people who attend and have called that school theirs. But I guess we'll see how this unfolds going forward because it's a whole new uncharted water for a long time.
Okay. Before we go back to you, Trustee Johnson, was there any other comments? No. Do you want to close?
Yeah, sorry, you're absolutely right, Kyle, to ask if anyone else has any comments. I think that like we have a library in Clear Vista that's named after a principal who was there for many, many years. We had been approached by a community who had lost one of their staff members to rename a gym, and we had quite a discussion about it, and because there was no policy that basically gave us direction on how to handle it. And it is true that the community is very important participants in the naming of a property or the naming of a room. And I think that those kinds of dedications, and even when we had a company that wanted to do the sign at the high school, they wanted their name to be a prominent portion of that, and we had to decide that that wasn't really our wish to be represented as a supporter of a particular brand. And so, again, because we had no policy that sort of guided us in that process, we had to look at how we were going to actually pay for it. So I am very pleased that our administration brought this forward.
Okay, thank you.
Review and approval.
Right, so the motion on the floor is that policy 25, naming of schools and school property, be approved as presented. All in favor? That is carried.
So as you can tell, we had a busy meeting, and it was, we got a late start, of course, and so the recommended motion is that the minutes of the governance committee meeting held on December 17th be accepted as presented.
All right, thank you, Trustee Johnson. Do I have a seconder? Trustee Eichert, thank you. All in favor?
Oh, and I'm sorry, Trustee Dorchester, we did have a discussion today on policy 3, the role of the trustee in terms of school council representation by trustees. And I would like to make a motion that the list of trustees assigned to schools to serve as school liaisons be approved as presented and outlined in policy 3.
Okay, just 1 second. I'm gonna,
It's in my report.
in your report, okay?
Yeah.
We can wait for my.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah,
Hmm?
we'll wait for my report.
Oh, okay, sorry,
No
yeah,
problem. Okay, that's okay.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
no,
Okay,
that's fine.
so I believe.
So I'm rescinding that motion.
Okay, you betcha. And I believe we still need to vote on
Minutes?
the minutes. So
Oh, sorry.
all in favor of approving the minutes? Okay, that is carried. Okay, moving on to board representative reports. I believe Trustee Ware has something on the Public School Board Association of Alberta.
I do, it's good. So because we are members of the Public School Board, we've already paid for the PD that they're providing us. So for the months of January and February, you can register for any number of these webinars. They're Tuesday, Thursday evenings. If you miss one, there's been one yesterday, Barb had said. So I see on the website, there's recording and slides available. You can go back. So if I'm probably attending live would be good in case you have questions. If you need to go back, I encourage us each to pick a couple and take advantage of our membership. They're quite nicely done. Barb, you went to one?
I just want to make a comment as our rep. Could you maybe ask at the next council meeting that they make an easier registration where you can tick off which ones you can attend and you only have to do it once? Because the way it is right now, you have to register for each one individually, and it's a PITA.
I'll bring it up.
Thank
I don't know
you.
how much pull I have, but I'll.
No, it's just a comment, Lynn. Like if they made a multiple choice thing where you could just tick off a box.
You're pretty good at evolving.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank you. I wrote it down.
okay, thank you.
Oh,
That's it? Okay, thank
Sorry.
you. All right, moving on to my board chair report. Since our last meeting, the board has received several advocacy and correspondent updates relevant to governance. Firstly, the Public School Board Association of Alberta wrote to Minister Nicolaides regarding the Alberta Education System review being conducted by MNP. PSBAA noted that school divisions were notified through superintendents only without concurrent notification to board chairs, which reinforces trustee concern that elected boards may be circumvented on governance matters. PSBAA urged meaningful engagement with school boards and requested that the ministry share the terms of reference as an immediate first step. Trustee Johnson.
I appreciate all the work that PSBAA has done on behalf of public school boards, and I do think that a direct line to superintendents is not really fair to anybody, superintendents included, because they are in fact employees of the board. And so I do believe that we should probably send a letter agreeing with the fact that school boards come first in lines of protocols. I think it's evident that the superintendent has to do the work, but they also have to answer to the board. So I think that directing the minister or asking the Minister of Education to please recognize the elected officials who govern the system of education in this province, that we are top of the food chain.
Thank you,
Okay.
Trustee Johnson. Yes.
So if I have to make that a motion,
You can just
No.
give direction, we'll draft if it's our way to Chair Dorchester, you and I can
Sure.
draft a letter.
does anybody have any disagreeing comments with that? The importance of school boards is diminishing in the way that it shouldn't.
Mhm.
So,
And I believe other boards are, most boards feel the same way.
yeah,
The second piece of correspondence that we have here is from Grand Yellowhead Public School Division, and they also wrote the minister regarding future ministry communication protocols
yeah,
in relation to this review.
but I think the more boards he hears from, the better it
That
will
are
be.
probably, okay, and finally, Public School Board Association of Alberta wrote to Premier Danielle Smith and Minister Nicolaides regarding the Cabinet Committee on class size and classroom complexities. That's a lot of Cs in a row. PSBAA welcomed the forming of the committee and offered principles to guide the work, including evidence-based targeted funding where complexity is greatest, respect for local autonomy and governance, and policy that balances individual student needs with overall classroom outcomes. PSBAA also emphasized a broad definition of complexity and the need for a holistic cross-ministry approach, which I know Trustee Johnson, you're a big fan of as well. Finally, we received a reminder from ASCA, the Alberta School Council Association, regarding proposed advocacy resolutions for school councils, which are due Friday, January 16th at 12 noon. So it'd be great if we could get that out to all our school councils. It's an important mechanism for school councils to bring forward advocacy items that ASCA then advances on behalf of member councils to government. And that concludes the correspondence and advocacy highlights for my report. And next up is Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Chair Dorchester. So a couple of good news items. First and foremost, right to play. WRPS is a successful applicant in accessing funds through the Right to Play organization. And those funds will be used towards offsetting costs of equipment. Also looking to hire mentors for young Indigenous mentors for our student, and I'm going to say student athletes, because what this is allowed to do is we're going to be launching a golf program for Indigenous students and giving them access to a sport and activity that maybe some would not have, but it's going to be a benefit for all kids. What this will look like in future weeks coming forward is we will be hiring a mentor. We'll be asking for students of Indigenous ancestry to see if they're interested. And the reason why we chose the sport of golf, Chair Dorchester, was that's something that we can do year round in the world of Wetaskiwin, between the beautiful land and golf courses that we have around here in our county and our city, and so forth, but also with, we have the ability to access virtual golf too, which is really relates well to young kids nowadays and doing that virtual piece, but it'll allow us to maintain a connection throughout the year with our students. And we're hoping to grow this beyond just this year and then also expand it from just the sport of golf to organization. What you'll also see in this right to play proposal is us bringing in elders and knowledge keepers to also provide some advice and thoughts to our young youth as they navigate the world of growing up. So that's a really great news item for us to secure that grant. Other good news item, Festival of Trees. Thanks for everyone that voted. WRPS, and big thanks to the people in the office, Alicia and Christine, for doing a great job of keeping me away from the decorating task because I don't think we would have won, but just thanks for everyone that came out to vote for WRPS. And that was the Festival of Trees that was hosted in the Manlick Center over the months of December into the break. I think there's still 1 or 2 trees still left. So if anyone's listening and you have your tree still there, I'm sure they would love for you to come and pick it up. So, and then one other good news item was this, just the Hope Mission hampers, just a big thanks to our continued partnership with Hope Mission. We were able to generate over 100 hampers for the greater area of the city of Wetaskiwin. We were also able to open up one of our schools at Queenie. So Principal Kerwin was great in hosting that, as well as our maintenance staff and so forth. So we were able to offer food during the break time of Christmas. So, and we'll continue to do those things. Our next up will be teacher convention and spring break. We'll continue to offer opportunities for students and families to access food and nutrition, especially those facing food insecurity issues there.
I believe
No.
you're good.
Yeah.
Trustee Johnson.
I would like to know if there's a way other than publicly acknowledging at this meeting to thank our staff for all the work. Alicia and Christine, the tree was beautiful. Thank you for putting that together on behalf of Wetaskiwin Regional Public Schools. And the food hampers at Christmas time were essential for families. And I really want to thank Hope Mission and the people who helped us contribute to our students' well-being over a holiday where they don't always have access to the food that we take for granted. And so I think that a huge thank you to the Hope Mission and to our staff who also did hampers during the strike. I don't know whether we've thanked them, and I don't know how we can, other than giving them a huge heartfelt thank you to make that happen.
Yeah, the great news, Trustee Johnson, about anything, and even don't forget that during the Christmas season, individual schools were doing hampers as well. And in fact, there was a food drive out west, and I think Winfield ended up winning the pizza contest that was out there. So we're supporting that piece too. But at the end of the day, here's what we know. People that do good things aren't doing it for thanks. They're doing it because it's good.
I know that.
And so we do have great people, great community members that are helping out. So that is just, it's continuing to do good things, and I love that. So I have one item for information, Chair Dorchester, and that's the calendar update. It's up on websites, it's good to go. So it's just a bit of a housekeeping item. And we are, knock on wood, that we don't have any more storm days. It looks like it's going to be suntan weather here in the next week or so. And so we'll have very little disruption to learning over the next calendar as we get closer and closer to June. I have 3 items for action. The first item for action, sort of Trustee Johnson sort of alluded to, is just the liaison. So I'm looking for that the list of trustees assigned to schools to serve as school liaisons be approved as presented as outlined in policy 3.
Right, is
So
anybody?
moved.
Okay, thank you. Seconder, Trustee Ware, thank you. Any comments?
Just that we make it known that Trustee Potts has the ability to pick and choose and mix up the schools as she sees fit to encompass her Muscogee outside of resident representation.
Yeah, awesome, noted. Trustee Ware?
So just that we had also had been quite an in-depth discussion on how we wanted to continue on with this, and we tossed around the idea, because of the recent election, of sort of loosening the constraints of assigning schools to one trustee, and then decided to maintain the status quo where we do assignment, but welcome other trustees as a way of getting to know the community and different schools to attend with the appointed trustee. So just to be aware that it's nothing more than just sort of PD and getting to know the community. Yeah, we want to try and invite possibly a second trustee from time to time.
Is there any other discussion? All right, seeing none, the motion on the floor is the list of trustees assigned to schools to serve as school council liaisons be approved as presented, as outlined in policy 3. All in favor? All right, motion is carried.
Oh, thank you. Next item for action is our new build. So we're getting closer and closer to it coming to fruition, and pretty soon in the coming months, we'll be out engaging in the community and talking about the exciting news for WRPS. And what I'm looking for, Chair Dorchester, is the new build schematic be reviewed and discussed at the Facility and Finance Committee meeting.
Does anyone prepared to make that motion? Thank you, Trustee Reich. A seconder? Trustee Lethbridge, thank you. Is there any discussion?
Is any of this available online yet for people to view, or nothing yet?
Not at this time.
Okay.
So the process right now, Chair Dorchester, is that this will get sent to Facility and Finance discussion, and then we await final release of the details by government. Then we will then be able to start heading out and having conversations and sharing and celebrating what an amazing build this is going to be for WRPS.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, the motion on the floor is that the new build schematics be reviewed and discussed at the Facility and Finance Committee meeting. All in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you.
I have one item, last item for action, and it's around the Rural Small Schools Grant. And what I'm looking for is, as we are starting to approach the budget season here and starting to take the next couple of months to figure out and navigate how we are going to spend the dollars and cents of a budget and about government funding. But I think it's important that in like that, we are a rural school division. A rural school division that also includes a city, but even in our city, we do have small schools that qualify for this grant. And so what I am looking for, Chair Dorchester, is that the Rural Small Schools Grant be referred to the Facility and Finance Committee for further discussion.
All right, and is anybody prepared to make that motion? All right, thank you, Trustee Reich. Seconder, Trustee Ware, thank you. Is there any discussion? Trustee Ware?
So a rural small school is considered, I believe, 155 or less.
Correct.
Which is quite a few of our schools. So that puts us in a vulnerable position with these grants. So we definitely need to talk about it.
Agreed. Any other discussion? Trustee Johnson?
Looking at the funding manual, the implications to our board if we lose any of that funding, we will be in deep, deep caca. So I think that it really needs to be discussed, and the government is known for making interesting decisions at different times of the year. So we need to be able to advocate to maintain this funding, particularly in the rural school divisions.
Agreed. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, the motion on the floor is that the Rural Small School Grant, RSSG, be referred to the Facility and Finance Committee for further discussion. All in favor? Thank you. Motion is carried.
Thank you, Chair Dorchester. And last but not least, attached are board action and referrals, and that's it for my report.
All right, thank you, Superintendent Wade. Next up is upcoming events. The following dates are provided for your awareness. Education Committee is next Wednesday, January 14th at 9 a.m. Our next Committee of the Whole and regular board meeting, as well as a Governance Committee meeting, is January 21st at 9 a.m. and with the Governance Committee meeting to follow. And we have a Council of School Councils meeting January 28th at 7 p.m. And I believe that brings us to the end of our agenda. So if there's no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Trustee Wright. Seconder? Thank you, Trustee Norton. All in favor? All right, motion is carried. The meeting is adjourned at 12:19 p.m. Thank you, everyone.